Don't do it.
You will have watched it already.
Abortion's worse than slavery.
Well,
I don't care if this hurts your feelings.
Facts.
I don't care. Abortion is the #1 worst human rights issue that has ever happened on American soil.
Damn, preach, queen. It's crazy.
So on first watch, there are a number of things I'd imagine you might be saying right now. What? Why?
Abortions
How? Why?
worse
Why?
than
Who?
slavery.
Why?
I don't care.
Stop. And those are all valid questions and thoughts. For me, I interpreted this clip as someone just doing what the kids call a little bit of trolling.
We do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
It's long been a podcast promotion strategy to say outrageous things on your show, clip it, and then post it to TikTok and have it go viral as you get mercilessly dunked on and witness in real time a trickle-down boost of followers that actually happen to agree with whatever insane, exaggerated claim you might have been making in the original clip. It's the industry standard, and it makes for some truly fantastic and normal fan communities. I thought this might have been that, and perhaps it is, but the person in the video doesn't think so.
Abortion is worse than slavery. People thought I was just trying to be provocative, but I mean this, and I'm going to unpack what I mean by this. It is...
I know what she's gonna say about this. I know what she's gonna say. I mean, it's like not even new. That's the worst part. This is what's offensive about this take is not the take itself. It's the fact that it's been said time and time again. You have to believe a couple things. You have to believe that abortion is murder, okay? And pound for pound, if you believe abortion is murder, there's like millions of fucking babies being murdered every year. Babies are innocent lives. And that, you know, it's worse than like fucking the Holocaust, stuff like that, you know what I mean?
million times worse than slavery. Abortion is a million times worse than slavery ever was and ever will be.
Make no mistake though, she was getting dunked on, ratioed into oblivion in the comments. They gotta stop giving people microphones. 40,000 likes. This better affect her credit score. 70,000 likes. She said that too loud. 70,000 likes. It got to the point where her TikTok account was actually taken down. And so of course she opened up a new one to thank everyone for the views by insulting them.
And so you're just leaving people with this empty hole in their heart. They have no meaning, nothing. And then they take to Twitter, to Instagram, and they find something that feels like it's bigger than themselves. Yes. And then they latch onto it, and then they turn into bots.
And also post workout videos where she does some stretches, which I assume must be some kind of warm up for all of the mental gymnastics.
Did you know that Black people are not the only race to have historically experienced slavery?
I mean, this is like... This is Candace Owens. Straight up.
I know this is shocking, but pretty much every civilization in the history of mankind, at some point, their ancestry owned slaves. And the United States was one of the first countries to abolish it very quickly and efficiently.
So if this person is already being dragged through the mud for this, on its face, horrible and racist take, then why am I making this video? Well, to be honest, the more I looked into it, into who this person is, the rhetoric they are using, and how it relates to other similar pro-life rhetoric outside of this context, the more I found this whole story just interesting. I'm interested in the contradictions found within extremist pro-life ideology. I'm interested in the divide between general TikTok audiences and far-right religious podcasters. And I want to talk about all this stuff. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we do, first, a quick word about today's video sponsor, Ren. We all emit CO2 with photos, this person's social media information. The reason I've decided to do that is that they are still small. Like, even though she's been on Candace Owens' show and has a bunch of Instagram followers for her fitness page thing, the podcast they have is still under 20,000 subscribers. Small enough to where platforming them can really only draw the wrong sort of attention to the account. 11% of Americans believe that even in cases where pregnancy threatens the pregnant person's life or health, abortion should be totally illegal. 15% of Americans believe that even if the pregnancy is the result of rape, abortion should still be totally illegal. I'm sure you all saw the news about Roe v. Wade and, you know, Texas's bounty hunter abortion law. So basically, I don't want to get these groups of people congregating as fans of a podcast or anywhere else. But okay, so this show is just like a uniquely horrifying gem of conservative, it's almost performance art. For one thing, you have the lady, who we already saw say that crazy stuff, certifiably a right-wing religious extremist. She used to work for Candace Owens.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I worked for her for over 2 years. I was her very first hire, so I can't wait to tell her that I'm the Asian Candace Owens. She's gonna love it. Love it.
Which makes a lot of sense, actually, given Candace's propensity to downplay.
There it is. Go ahead.
Play the severity of American chattel slavery. She's got a whole PragerU video on it.
Here's the first thing you need to know. Slavery was not invented by white people.
They're so basic. They're so basic. They're so basic. All their fucking takes have been said before. Conservatives love conserving talking points and nothing else. Okay? Conservatism is just the conservation of talking points. Like, since the fucking first caveman decided maybe we shouldn't actually use this wheel thing, okay? I don't know. We should go back to a time when we didn't have fucking wheels. Since then, conservatives have just been conserving the talking points. Kitty Mouse. What the fuck? Mouse Mat podcast merch when? Bro, this is like literally one step closer to getting me banned. Like, what is wrong with you? Why did I click on that? See, this is my problem. I trust chatters that have been long-term community subs for a little too much.
The word slave actually comes from the Slavs of Eastern Europe. Millions of them, all white by the way, were captured and enslaved by Muslims.
Thank you, Candy Owens. She has certain opinions on trans people.
Have you noticed?
Damn, bro, this is like anti-Ottoman bullshit, by the way. I'm just going to point this out. We already talked about this with Matt Walsh. I'm not going to get into it again. You know what I mean? When he was talking about fucking white person trafficking. We did talk about that extensively when Matt Walsh was doing the same exact argument. Again, conservatives love conserving talking points. A little bit funny that like Candace Owens is a black woman also, you know, using the most like the most awful like anti-black. Matt Walsh reacted to you or react on him on slaves? Yeah, I don't give a fuck, dude. Matt Walsh can react to my cock in his mouth. How about that?
That there are no trans men dominating men's sports, but there are plenty of trans women dominating women's sports. Funny how that works.
Wow, what a surprise that she would say something like that. I'm so confused. The conservative media worldview is never this predictable. And then you have the show's co-host, who I would describe as being like fuckboy inside out dad. Like there's fuckboy Aladdin, right? Aladdin biting his lip with tattoos and a beanie. This guy is that, but for the dad from Inside Out. And he's an interesting presence on the show, because while he will say absolutely disgusting, heinous shit, like insinuating that rape victims shouldn't get abortions because they need the baby for DNA evidence.
I got a lot of pushback when I said something like, why are women who are getting raped getting abortions? Isn't that killing the number one piece of evidence they have against their rapist?
Dude, that's such a good take, man. Never heard that one before. Oh, wait. Matt Walsh said that. It's just like, it's, again, conservation of talking points. I heard it before. It's boring, okay? At first, when I heard it, I thought, wow, that's new and unique. But no, it's not new or unique. Matt Walsh said it first, plus you're white, plus L, plus ratio. But also, you know, there's a concept called rape kits. You know what I mean? The baby is not the only evidence for when you're raped. I don't know. You know, maybe that's just me. But I feel like there are, you know, millions of untested rape kits out there. Backlog of them. As a matter of fact, maybe you should work on that if you want to solve rape. Some of the rape crimes. Anyway, yeah. Dude, it's just, look, here's the thing, okay? Conservatives can only get away with this shit because there are so many fucking idiots out there, especially in their communities, okay? Tyler Spark, thank you for the 50 big ones. Holy shit. Like, this is the dumbest fucking take. This is just a stupid take, okay? From start to bottom, or from start to finish, top to bottom, this is just a dumb guy's take. Like, hey, the only way, isn't that evidence? Like, you're hiding evidence? Like, dude, you're a fucking idiot. You're an absolute fucking moron. There's a million different things you could do before you chose this as a reason for why you need to make a 10-year-old carry a pregnancy to term, you fucking monster. You dumb if you think all conservatives think this is smart? No, there's plenty of conservatives who are just malicious, okay? I know. But the entire point is that, like, this guy can get away with saying dumb shit like this because most of the audience is equally as dumb. They don't even fucking think about it one step beyond the talking point. They just go around and repeat it. And that's why they're so easy to fucking destroy. It's so easy to fucking shit on them. It's so easy to undermine their arguments and belittle them. Why? Because they don't even think about the fucking talking point beyond what he just said.
Right.
He will also be the one to weirdly jump to the defense of people who've had abortions.
And I'll also say to the right, let's not immediately fly off the handle at women who have had abortions, because they probably, I'd say a lot of the time, they're probably in a bad way.
Or talk about how Christian Walker is just playing a character and he's not really like that, to kind of try and defend him from the co-host who just doesn't want gay shit a part of the conservative movement.
I'm telling you, I think it's a caricature. Like, that's a Saturday Night Live caricature of a gay conservative.
Oh God, everyone is a fucking dude. Everyone is a lib, dude. That is this guy unironically is just like a fucking Brooklyn soy guy. Okay, like what distinguishes this man from the aesthetic appeal and the language that he uses and the way he fucking carries himself? What is the difference between him and any number of other like Brooklyn soy podcasters? Okay. Just that he's what, right wing? Is that it? Oh, okay. Like he just fucking cranked the racism dial. Sick. He is just, he's just as much as an article head as like the millionth podcast host, okay?
Yeah.
That's what I think that is.
I can see that. And again, I don't like the gay stuff being in the movement.
But okay, so let's just go through some of the arguments that this person makes for the claim that abortion is worse than slavery. You might think that this isn't necessary because of how self-evidently ignorant that statement is, but I do think it's necessary because abortion being compared to things like murder, slavery, and the Holocaust, aside from being a very dangerous precedent to set, is also not a new phenomenon. United States politicians and government officials have used the slavery analogy before. The Holocaust comparison specifically was a staple of the early pro-life movement. It was even employed in 1985 in court to defend a couple of young men who happened to be caught placing bombs in abortion clinics. Oops. 40 years ago, if the bombers had sabotaged concentration camps, they would be heroes. In World War II, my father commanded a rifle company that liberated Landsberg, where Hitler wrote Mein Kampf. My father saw pile upon pile, thousands of emaciated bodies. Why did they? The bomb.
You know who else did that recently? Some fucking family YouTubers, you know what I mean? As if family YouTubers aren't already causing many abortions, okay? God damn. What was the fucking family that did that? The LeBriant family, whatever.
Bombers do it because our Supreme Court, in its omnipotence, says we can kill as long as we're nice about it. This is the type of rhetoric that is used to justify violence against abortion clinics, abortion rights activists, and people who have gotten abortions. And as much as I really want to just laugh at how insane this take is, I do feel like I just should dig a little deeper, just for this.
I think it's actually really useful to say that abortion is worse than slavery because it really forces people to think. Because what's the worst human rights issue that everybody talks about? Slavery. And yes, of course, it was heinous, it was wrong, it was immoral, it was disgusting. We all know that. But once you put slavery and abortion in the same sentence, it really forces you to understand the true atrocities of abortion.
Okay, so a couple things here. You never want to find yourself setting up a point by saying, of course slavery was bad. But this happens way more times on this podcast than it ever should on any podcast, and it's fascinating to watch.
It's not to say that slavery is good or okay or just. Okay. It's obviously still bad and disgusting. But again, I'm not defending I can't even have to say this. Obviously, we're not defending slavery. But obviously, slavery is one of the worst things that human beings have ever done to each other. But the thing about slavery is that you still have a right to life.
So to the idea that making this comparison somehow forces people to understand the true horror of abortion, we have to ask, is that really what happens when you do this? I mean, we saw the comment section, right? Those tens, maybe hundreds of thousands of people, did they seem to be going through some epiphany about the ethics of abortion when she made the comparison? Are they beelining it to the Daily Wire subscription page thanks to her uniquely effective rhetoric? No. Of course not. They were doing the opposite, likely just shocked and appalled at the ignorance of the statement. And can you really blame them? When she earnestly makes this comparison, what she's doing is undermining and whitewashing the uniquely horrific atrocity that was American chattel slavery. She's implying that enslaved black people and aborted fetuses are the same thing, and that there's no difference in the morality of the forces which have created their situations. Never mind the fact that American slavery was a permanent inheritable institution based upon your race that was carried out for the economic gain of the white masters, and that abortion is an often necessary procedure to protect the health and well-being of the person getting one. No, these two things are the same because one life equals one life, and that's all that matters. Another probably worse thing is that in doing this, she is also implicating people who've had abortions as being morally equivalent or worse than slave owners. And that's just not great, you know? Hey, that 10-year-old rape victim that had to cross state lines to get an abortion a few weeks ago, thanks to laws that you happen to promote, she was actually doing a slavery. Worse, even. When I tell people that vaccine mandates are worse than the Holocaust, or that Trump having the election stolen from him is worse than a million 9/11s, it really helps them understand, you know? They say, wow, they must have been really actually bad then. Like, no, none of that is what's happening here.
One of the reasons why abortion is even more heinous than slavery is because the person ending your life is the one person that you rely on. I can't even say this without getting emotional.
As opposed to slavery, where the person enslaving you, it's nothing personal, you know? They're not your family, they're not your relatives. It's just some white guy. He doesn't have any, it's not his, it's his business, you know? Come on. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? This once again posits the intentions of the person getting the abortion as being to literally murder their own child, as opposed to like taking a pill to get rid of this like weird little axolotl guy. Because as we know, the vast majority of abortions take place in the first trimester. It's just very silly. And you know it's very silly, but I feel like I still have to just mention it.
Maybe Media Matters one day will start taking our clips out of context and call me a slavery apologist. Stop killing babies.
Nobody has to take you out of context to call you a slavery apologist. I can do it right now. Watch. You're a slavery apologist. You said multiple times that abortion is worse than slavery. And then you said you have empathy for people who have abortions. Doesn't that mean we ought to extend this empathy to the slave owners too? I mean, the acts they committed were, according to you, no worse than the pregnancy terminations. So what's up? Were they brainwashed by big slavery?
Well, this is why I say the abortion industry preys on vulnerable women. Like, my heart breaks just as much for most of those women.
Yeah.
Again, not the ones out there with the not a human yet still written on their stomach.
Yeah.
But the women, there's so many women,
Cool aesthetics. Thank you for the 5 of the subs.
millions of women who have been preyed on by the predatory abortion industry, which is propped up and funded by the federal government. And my heart breaks for these women because they don't know what an abortion is. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. And they are coerced many times and bullied into ending the life of their own child.
Yeah.
And that is traumatic, truly
Terrible.
traumatic.
It's terrible.
Also, there's no evidence of this notion that people are being propagandized in mass to get abortions. The most commonly cited reasons for getting abortions are 74% of people saying that caring for a baby would interfere with work, education.
Yeah, it's propagandas, dude. People are like, oh, damn, abortions seem pretty fucking pog. Can't wait to get impregnated so I can get an abortion going.
Or ability to care for dependents. Younger women reported being unprepared for the transition to motherhood, and older women cited their responsibility to dependents. So there is no Marxist plot to get everyone to get abortions, and there is no hoes being hoes agenda.
The fact that we have millions of babies murdered in the womb just because hoes want to hoe.
And implying otherwise just
Bro, like, is her goal to just be the most annoying fucking person on the right? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's just like, it unironically feels like she is like, she's just annoying. Like, I'm not even mad at what she's doing. I can't get past the fact that she's like just kind of a dud. You know, ooh, like doing like the weird ass faces and shit. It made Alex Jones a fuck ton of money. Guys, you are literally comparing the top dog to some fucking random person who's not even doing a good job. Alex Jones has been at it for fucking 30 goddamn years. Alex Jones is actually charismatic, whether you appreciate what he's doing or not. Obviously, no one appreciates what he's doing if you have a fucking brain cell. But like, he is a legitimately entertaining person. He's creative, he's entertaining. He has like, you know, he has psychotic takes all the fucking time. But like, this person is just repeating basic PragerU talking points while making weird fucking faces. You don't like what he's doing? You like how he does it? Yeah. That's sexist to say she isn't entertaining? Well, call me fucking sexist then, okay?
Demonstrates ignorance on the reasons for why people get these and what this system does for people. Another argument that gets made here is that because the phrase life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was written by the founding fathers in that order, this means that it was some kind of intentional chronological checklist of morality.
The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Listen to that order. What does abortion take away? It takes away the right to life. And do you think that our founding fathers just threw those words together willy-nilly, nonchalantly, without ever thinking about them? You think the order of those words doesn't have any meaning? Those words are in that order for a very specific reason, because the right to life is the most important, the most crucial, and the primary right that we all have.
A couple of things here. First, when we're having discussions about the morality of slavery, I don't think the founding fathers are the people that we should be consulting, seeing as, you know, at the time they wrote those words, they owned slaves. So even if she's right about the intentions of the order of the words, why would that matter? For black people in America, all of those words were a lie. Secondly, you may see where this argument is leading to. If she's making the case that abortion strips all of these rights away from fetuses, and that this process is worse than what happened with slavery, then does she mean that slavery didn't do that? Well, her answer may shock and surprise you very much.
Your right to life, it can't be given to you or taken away from you by the government. That is a God-given right. And it comes before liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Obviously, because if you're not alive,
liberty.
You can't have liberty. You can't have a right to the pursuit of happiness. Now, again, I can't even believe I have to say this, but I have to say this for all the dum-dums. Obviously, slavery is one of the worst things that human beings have ever done. But the thing about slavery is that you still have a right to life. You are at least alive. Okay? You are alive. Now, do you have a right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness?
Yo! That's awesome. Okay, see, like, we got some new ones. We got some, I hadn't heard that one before. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. This is, hey, let me just say something, okay? Antinatalists defeated. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you, did you go to school? Did you learn philosophy? Did you become an antinatalist? Guess what, sweaty? Fucking owned, okay? Destroyed. She just said, no, you're wrong. And destroyed your fucking worldview, okay? New take unlocked. Actually, it's not a new take. I just went back into the fucking library of content in my brain, in my broken brain, and realized that Steve King made a similar take comparing abortion to slavery and said that at least, you know, you could be, if you were a slave, you could see the sun shine and the sun set. So, yep, I was wrong. It's not even a new take. Steve King said that. Remember when he was a fucking seated representative? Okay. Holy shit, your brain is fucking destroyed from watching too much conservative content. Yeah, exactly. I do love that, though. I mean, she just basically destroyed the antinatalist argument by just saying, no. Being alive against your will and being enslaved for your entire life, raped, all of that is significantly better than, the decision that you did not even make. That's great.
Not.
Right.
It does kind of depend on like the
here it is.
slave owner.
Here it is. I spent Juneteenth all day in the hot sun hoeing. Right, when Steve King is hoeing, it's all good, right? Hypocrites. Pulling weeds and thinking about what it would have been like to be a slave. At the end of the day, I thought about what it would be like to be an aborted baby. I got to see the sunrise and the sunset. That's his take. That's crazy. Dude fired that off his iPad. Yeah, dude was sitting around at 4:30 a.m. and was like, I gotta fire one. I gotta fire one for all the racism fans out there. You know what I mean? For all you fans of my racism, I got a good one cooking up. 12,000 likes. Oh my God.
Like, you know what I mean? It depends on where you're enslaved, the era that you're enslaved in, etc.
Depends on the slave owner. What? What's up? What's up, man? Hey, slave owners killed slaves all the time. That's a thing that happened, and they mostly got away with it. What are you saying? What are you saying? Ever. This is again what makes it hilarious, the notion that people are going to take this podcast out of context to make them look like slavery apologists. The point that is repeatedly being made is self-evidently slavery apologia, just over and over saying that slaves didn't have it that bad, not like little Eggo waffle here, the thing that can't see, hear, feel, think, or breathe. Pain. I'm in pain. All right, y'all. So that was just a quick little peek at some insane internet conservatism. We always make sure to have a good, fun, wholesome time on this channel. That's why we do it, and we love it. The only thing that could make this worse if this show somehow got picked up or sponsored by like Daily Wire or PragerU, that would be pretty wild. And to be perfectly honest, that probably will happen. It doesn't matter how incompetent or extremist your propagandists are, if they can keep pushing a conservative worldview with a Shure SM7B and a smile, they will fit perfectly snug into the right-wing media machine. And we love that for us, for this country and the world. The same people that shit their pants and cry 1984 when asked to wear a face covering in CVS are the people that love when the state enforces every pregnancy to be carried to term, even if it requires state violence. It makes sense. If you really think about it hard, it makes sense. Okay, thanks again for...
Look, I want to watch this Charlie one because everyone's saying it's really good, but at the end of the day, antinatalists believe that being alive was against your will, and the likelihood that you are going to experience a fuckload of oppression in your lifetime is a non-zero chance, right? Which ultimately makes the choice of having children a selfish one, okay? Because none of you asked to be born. And you're taking a sequence of fucking L's, ultimately. At the top of the hour, there's a 60-second L in the form of an ad break. But now, of course, there are ways to turn those L's into W's, okay? You didn't consent to being born. You didn't consent to seeing the ad break at the top of the hour. However, you can consent to subscribing for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. I know so many of you saw it coming a mile away. Shut the fuck up! Don't ruin this for me. Plenty did not. Some of you are not as brain broken as others. Devon H, thank you for the 5 get the subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour every hour where there's a 6-second ad break. La 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 Keisha, thank you for the 5 get the subs. Tyler Spark with 100 big ones. What the fuck? Ken I the Bunny, 5 gifted subs. Phil Aesthetics with the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. Ray Donnell and Bunts with another 5. Holy shit. After all that, you might as well have gotten a fucking gifted sub. Here's the 1-minute ad break now. Chrome X69 with the 10 gifted subs.